Hi, my name's Phil.
And my name is Rob.
And we've been mates for years. We've done loads of stuff together.
All of which, mainly, have turned into chaos.
But someone then suggested, why don't you do a podcast? That seemed like a good idea, didn't it?
Really did.
Then we realised neither of us have ever done one of those. So is this going to work?
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
Welcome to Two Pastors in a Pod. Here we are, the start of a new year.
It's 2025. We've had a little bit of a break, haven't we?
We have had to have a little bit of a
for
break.
our one or two viewers who've missed us.
Yeah, we're back.
We do apologise, but we're back. We're back now.
So this is the first time that you have ever watched a Two Pastors in a Pod. We're really pleased you're here. We're just two ordinary people who happen to have the privilege of being ministers of a church in Shropshire.
Can I clarify?
Okay.
One of us is ordinary. We'll let you work out which one that is.
Yeah, that would probably be.
Anyway.
So it's a new year. Did you have a good Christmas?
We had a great Christmas, as always.
Yeah, lots of family around, lots of stuff going on in church.
Too many mince pies.
Yes, I can see that. That's why you're sitting so
Well,
much
I
lower.
maintained a resolution. A Christmas resolution.
Do you really do
Because I know we're going to talk about that. A Christmas resolution.
Come on then, what's the resolution?
Not to go near a single Brussels sprout.
Good lad.
They are
Well,
the-
we're so pleased to hear that.
They are the enemy.
So do you really not like them?
I really loathe them. I think.
Well, I didn't know that. I thought it was only me who didn't like
I think the
Brussels
problem
sprouts.
was I was force fed them as a kid.
Yeah, I was as a kid as well.
By me nan.
Well, we went to someone's house once, and these Brussels sprouts, they came out like, I don't know, cannonballs. They were horrible.
Yeah.
And so I don't like it. So you did well with that.
No, it was a nice Christmas. We had a family over and all that. We had a good time at church.
Yeah, we did. So do you do resolutions at the beginning of the year?
I think, do you know what? I've gotten to an age
Yeah.
where I don't.
See, I've got
Because I used to.
Well, seriously.
I used to always set out a few goals for New Year, but I think my view on it has changed over the years. So
I'm at the stage where I have never really done New Year's resolutions because I knew I'd never keep them.
yeah, well that's true.
So what do you reckon the top 5 New Year's resolutions are?
Funny you should say that.
What have you got?
I looked them up on my phone or something.
Okay, what you got?
I haven't got 6. I haven't got 5. I've got 6.
Oh, 6.
The 6 most common New Year's resolutions.
Okay, what you got?
And I've got percentages as well.
Right.
So the first one, top of the league.
Hang on, let me guess. I reckon top of the lead is get thin.
No, it's save more money.
Really?
Yeah, apparently 21%.
Okay.
21% of you out there want to save more money.
All right, fair enough.
Wish I had enough money to even save that many. But anyway, the second one,
Yep.
19% say eat healthier.
Oh, yeah, well, that's always one after. It's because you've had a blowout at Christmas.
So have you finished all your Christmas chocolates?
No, we're still going.
See?
We're still going with our chocolates.
So I think we've got a load in the cupboard. We've put them at the highest part of the cupboard.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to use them at Life Group this week.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They can clear them all up.
You're a feeder.
The third one is exercise more. Have you been to the gym yet?
Funny you should say that. I would say, yeah. So, I mean, according to Active UK, latest kind of research says the main reason that people start the gym at the beginning of the year is because they've made a resolution to get their bodies fit.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is, as you know, Rob, this is already pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's just maintaining how good it is.
See, our viewers,
Yeah.
when they look at us, they might think, there's no way that they go to the gym.
We do.
We do, but it's got a nice cafe, hasn't it?
No, I go to the gym twice a week. Oh, that's the intention
Really?
anyway. Yeah, twice a week.
Yeah. Anyway, 17% want to exercise
Yep.
more. 15% want to lose weight. So how's that going?
All right, actually, I am doing I'm doing the fast thing.
The fast.
So yeah, I
Fast.
do one main meal a day and then
What was that?
try not to eat.
The fast is not just to eat faster.
No, blimey, if we ate any faster in our household.
You do eat fast.
Why are we talking about getting thinner then? How's it going in your department? Because I've got to be honest, out of all my friends, I have never ever had a friend who have been on so many diets. Hang on, you've done the nut diet, you've done some other diet, you've done a meat diet, you've done a Atkins diet. How's it going in the new year?
Failed. diet. But that's why I wear black today.
Is that right?
To make me look at it.
Can I tell you something?
But someone
It's not necessarily working.
Somebody on Sunday said that, you've lost a bit of weight. I thought, I'll take that. Anyway,
Did you? Bless
the
them.
next one, the fifth one, is spend more time with family and friends.
Yeah, that's it.
14%.
Yeah, that's
important. That is important. And the final one, this is just for you, quit smoking.
I've got
Those woodbines.
I have never done cigarettes.
no.
Never even been tempted.
So
down
they're
that route,
they're the 6 most common New Year's resolutions.
Well, I think one of our resolutions should be probably drink more tea.
I was just about. I was waiting. I was waiting for the segue, and I was going to come up with that one as well.
So,
Number seven is drink more tea.
so sure enough, we've got a new tea. Now, this came from one of our viewers and listeners who's been avidly listening. I happened to go to their church across in Liverpool, and they said, I've got you some tea bags.
So this is Sarah, isn't it?
This is Sarah. So Sarah, if you're listening, this is your tea. Now, this tea is made in Lima.
So go on then, where's Lima?
So this is Peruvian.
You looked it up.
Now, I've got the tea bag here. There's a couple in there. So I thought you could read the tea bag and tell me what you think's in it.
Well, I actually did Spanish.
Oh, did you?
I did Spanish.
Okay, so what's that say?
It says, té.
Which means tea.
Té, canela y clavo. Jacas fundamente seleccionados.
Seleccionados. It sounds more Italian.
Sorry, you would be proud of me. Well, she lived
What's
in
in it?
She lived in Italy for a while.
Yeah, so what's in it?
Well, it doesn't say, does it?
Well, I'll tell you what, in which case you're going to have to find out. Now, you told me you were very, very thirsty.
I am thirsty.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You're really thirsty. Oh, good.
I hope this is nice. We should have given our producer one.
No, we shouldn't. Okay, so have a sniff first. What do you reckon's in there?
I don't know. I hope it's not from the Peruvian drug cartel.
We can't even talk about that on a podcast. Go on, have a drink.
Well, I don't know what I can taste.
I don't like that.
It's wet.
Sorry, Sarah, I
It's
don't
all
like
right. It's wet and it's warm, but it's all right. It's fine.
What do you reckon's in it?
Oh dear. Well, we have no idea, don't we?
Oh, I know what's in it. I looked it up.
Oh, did you?
I Googled what it was.
Go on then.
So cinnamon. I like cinnamon.
Actually, I can get a bit of
I
cinnamon.
like cinnamon. But it's got cloves in it. Cinnamon and clove.
I can't get the cloves.
I mean, you're very welcome to the rest of that. That ain't particularly pleasant.
Anyway, we begin again.
So we start from a brand new year and a whole new set of challenges.
I actually love the new year.
Okay, what's that?
Because it is actually a time when, hopefully over Christmas you do get a little bit of time off, and then into the new year you get a bit of time off, and it should allow you to sit down and reflect and maybe do some resetting.
Do you think people really do reflect on their lives? Do you think we live in such a fast-moving world?
Yeah.
Do you think people actually do ever take a pace back and go, okay, where am I heading? Where's life going? And
I think a lot of people do, but obviously some don't. I know I do. I like to sit down with my little.
you love your book.
I'm a bit of a moleskin. Well, this is more like $5.99 from.
Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely not moleskin. Is
I
it?
used to be moleskin when I could afford it.
Then you came to work with us.
Amazon $5.99 just as good. Anyway,
But you can get it from other places.
I like to sit down and just reflect, and I always think of myself as a renovation project.
A renovation problem.
Now you like old cars, don't you?
I do actually. Yeah, I love vintage cars. Passion for them.
You've got an old Mini, haven't you?
Got an old Mini.
What kind of a state was it in when you bought it?
So when we bought it cheap.
Yeah.
It had some massive holes in it. The main reason we bought it is because it was original. It had the original engine with the original plate, which is, if you know anything about restoration of cars or motorcycles, those are really important.
So now it's pristine, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how did you get from a rusty wreck to being pristine then?
Well, I'd love to say I took it away and did it, but I didn't. I had a garage do the body work. We had a couple of folk in church look at the electrics and get those up and running. It took a lot of money and a lot of effort, and it's still not quite finished. There are still things that need tweaking on it. Now, if you are a restoration project, I guess you probably got...
A spiritual restoration project.
So you didn't say... I thought you must have dry, rotten, damp and all sorts of things. At your age, you definitely got damp.
It's quite obvious about the body, isn't it? But spiritually, I like to just say, well, I honestly come before the Lord and say, look, Lord, these are the issues I'm dealing with, and how do you want me to move forward into this new year? So I do like that time of reflection and resetting, and just I write it down.
See, the Bible, God is full of examples of how God resets. Noah and the flood, right the way through to Revelation and a new kingdom of heaven and earth. There's a lot of resetting of God's people. So Christians,
and
renovation.
Renovation.
Yeah,
we're all work in progress, aren't we? You said that.
Yeah, we definitely. There was a T-shirt once you could get that said, God hasn't finished me yet, or work in progress, because we are changed as we go through. Like Ecclesiastes, it talks about seasons, doesn't it? And we're all in different seasons, whether that's whether we're single, whether we're married, whether we're widowed. We're all going through different seasons in our lives. But resetting at the beginning of the year, I came across a couple of quotes, because if you look at Genesis, look at Genesis kind of 12, you've got Abraham who is standing on the edge of a challenge of God to reset where he lived, where he took his family, stepping out of the old in something to new, embarking on a new season. And this quotation, this came from a guy called Norman Vincent Peale, Methodist minister, beginning of the century, said this: "Throw your heart over the fence and the rest will follow. By giving yourself wholeheartedly to change, you passionately demonstrate your commitment to God's new work in you." I like the picture of throwing your heart kind of over a fence, because the thing is about a fence, you can't see what's the other side.
That's right, it's trust.
And it's kind of going, okay, God, it's a new start. Where do I go from here?
Yeah, and Abraham was exactly the same, wasn't he? He was to leave Ur, where he grew up, and to go who knows where. But he had to step out. And maybe for some people who are listening, maybe the Lord has been prompting them about a change.
Have you ever done that?
And they need to step out.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah.
Stepped out of, completely into the unknown.
On quite a few occasions.
Yeah, I mean, my first pastorate was in West Sussex. I was doing a job in the building trade, earning decent money, was on the brink of getting married, and God called me out of a well-paid job into the unknown. The church I went to told me where I went, "We have enough money to pay you for 1 year."
Yeah.
And it was moving house and everything.
Yeah.
And we did that. And 6.5 years later, we were still there, and they were still able to pay me remarkably. But it
was like me. I mean, when I got the call at the age of 39 to go into ministry, it was quite a strong revelation from God. I was driving along in the car, and I was basically confronted with the fact that I had to pack in work and go into the ministry, and I didn't know where that would lead.
Did you have a family?
That was kind of
family.
That was I had three young children. I had a mortgage. It was a well-paid job as well. So this was a massive step of faith, and it really was throwing your heart over the fence. But it took me a while to pull my heart and throw it over.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to go at first. I kicked back. Maybe I didn't have enough faith. And in that, my wife supported me, because she said, well, if the Lord is telling you to do something, then who are you not to do it? We have to trust.
And that's one of the things.
We have to step out in faith. So every good wife.
Particularly if we're in a marriage situation. God will lay it on both hearts, not just one.
So it's been a number of occasions where a change, a reset, has been laid upon my heart, and you have to step out in faith.
Do you think that's true also for us as churches? Obviously we've been ministers of different churches, we've been ministers of the same churches. Do you think sometimes God tells us we have to reset? So this last Sunday for us was a kind of text Sunday where we get a text for the year that we look at, we kind of grow and learn from, but we also got different ministries in the church to stand up and just reminded them, from the elders to covenant partners to members of the congregation, what this new year means for us. Do you think that's important for churches?
Very much so. I think we have to, at the start of a new year, at the start of a fresh, it's always a fresh start, isn't it? Which is what I love. We're moving into what existing ministries and potentially different ministries as well. So it's good to remind folk that why we're doing it. And we have a motto verse that reminds us of that. But it's always good to remind people who we are and what we're about. And maybe not just at New Year, but all the time. But I've got a question for you. What about people out there who've had, excuse me, a bad throat?
Yeah, bad. You need that restored.
I do indeed. Who've had a bad year. And 2024,
Yeah.
maybe even before that, has been a really bad season for them. And so they're moving into this new year, perhaps with a little bit of trepidation.
I know.
And yeah, well, you do, of course, do with your situation. But so how do we minister to those guys?
I mean, I think one of the things is it's all right going into a new year with a lot of excitement and a lot of kind of bluster. But if you come out off the back of a really bad year, one of the fears is the next year is going to be the same or worse. Yeah. I'm always encouraged by the Apostle Paul.
Yeah.
In Philippians 3, he talks about the fact that he's running a race.
Yeah,
I mean, were you athletic? Well, you're definitely not athletic now, but were you ever athletic?
Yeah, I used to win the 100 metres in the Scouts.
What were the other kids doing? I mean,
and I could throw the cricket ball the furthest.
See, I could say all of that because I never ran the 100 metres. I was a long distance.
I scored 5 goals on my 12th birthday.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Was there a keeper?
I got the bumps as well.
So you look at all that.
Anyway, so
I'm a long
back in the day I was, yes.
I'd like to say I am a long distance runner. I'm not. I used to do cross country at school. That was about my limit.
That's because you got short legs.
Short legs, but good looking. So look, the thing is with long distance and particularly with cross countries, you're always going over different ground. So we used to, as kids, even in London, we used to go through a wooded area and then down through some muddy bits and rocky bits. And but that's life. And Paul says, I'm running a race and I'm going to forget what's behind.
Amen.
And I'm going to focus on what's next. Yeah. And I think for most people who talk to me as a pastor who've had a difficult year, there are things we have to park with God and say, look, I don't understand why that is. And we may not understand until we get to glory. No. But 2024 was a difficult year for a whole range of reasons. But you've now set before me the rest of the race. And for me, that makes a huge difference.
I think, yes, and that's a wonderful text, you know, forgetting what lies behind you and straining forward to what lies ahead. But I think a lot of people get hung up either in the past, you know, and all of the problems and the issues that people have had in the past. And then they in their mind's eye, they take them forward to the future and they think, well, the future is going to be just as bad, or what if this happens, or what if that happens, or what if my situation gets worse? And what happens is that we forget just to do what Jesus told us to do, is to leave tomorrow's problems in tomorrow and just concentrate on the day. In Matthew 6, he said, look at the birds of the air, didn't he? You know, and they don't labour in order to feed themselves, but your heavenly Father cares for them. How much more is he going to care for you? And the Lord's Prayer, we did a seminar on the Lord's Prayer recently. Maybe we could do that as a podcast. The Lord's Prayer says daily bread. Yeah. You know, when in the Exodus, when they were moving through to the Promised Land, and it took them 40 years, Moses was leading them, every single day they had the manna from heaven. It was a daily bread. They weren't worrying about tomorrow because they knew that the Lord would provide for what they need each and every day. So that's part of trust, staying in the day and trusting our tomorrows to him, and knowing that when they become today, we'll have enough to deal with it.
You met my dad, didn't you?
I did.
So you knew my dad.
He was a great fella.
He was.
How did you turn out?
I don't know.
No, he was a great fella.
He was known in our family as the Oracle because we usually phone him up if we were making a decision, just for his opinion. One of his things, he had some great things that he regularly said. One of the things he regularly said is that you need to learn from the past, but you cannot live there.
Yes.
And that's the truth for us. Right at the beginning of a new year, if we're going to reset, we need to kind of go, okay, I've learned from, or I'm still learning from what I've been through, but I'm now going to press on.
And the other one is Lamentations, isn't it?
Yep.
That shall I read it?
Read it out.
I have got it on my phone somewhere, if I can find it. Lamentations 3 is a wonderful text. And for us, when we're talking about the past, there's been failings in the past.
Yeah.
You know, we're all sinners and we all fail and we all know our own personal problems that we're dealing with before the Lord. But how good is his mercy? It says this in Lamentations 3, and I'm reading from the Christian Bible. What is it?
The Holman Christian.
The Holman Christian Standard Bible. That's it. So verse 22 in Lamentations 3. Because of the Lord's faithful love, we do not perish. For his mercies, they never end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And in verse 24, I say, the Lord is my portion. Therefore, I will put my hope in him. No matter what we've done, no matter what problems we've had, which sometimes are of our own making because of sin, his mercy, his forgiveness is new every single morning. That's how gracious our God is. And we can come to him every single day, and we can renew and reset our hope in him. And that's the beauty of that text.
So there's your heart going over the fence again.
It is.
I mean, there'll be some people who are watching, particularly. One of the things we haven't spoken about, for Christians particularly, is their quiet time.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about quiet time on podcasts before. We've talked to see how different ways. But one of the things about January is that there is a natural reset in my relationship with God on a daily basis. My prayer time, my readings, my interaction with things of God. I mean, for you, do you find that a blessing to go, okay, let's reset that?
Always at the start of the year, I usually start a new plan. But the key word for me, in anyone listening to this, and is consistency.
Yeah.
You see, because what we tend to do is we have this reflection time over the new year. We say, right, I'm going to do this, and this. I'm going to read the Bible in a year. I'm going to read it in over 2 years.
Yeah.
And we go to the Bible app, which is great, and we set up these plans to read. And then we maybe do the first, the second, the third day, and then life takes over again. You get back into the routines of the new year, and it slips. So the key word, and it's one that I've actually written it down in my little black book. The key word for me, and I've coloured it and I've underlined it, is consistency.
So consistency, it's exactly the same as going to the gym, sticking to a diet, being with the family, not getting obsessed with work.
Consistency in your devotion.
Yeah, it's consistency in your devotion.
And that's one of the questions we always ask of me and you, don't we? So we
spend time.
We meet on a fairly regular basis to discuss a specific set of questions that we nicked off John Piper.
Yeah, John Piper,
when he was an elder of Bethlehem Church in the States. He had 80 elders. Well, he was a pastor. He had 80 elders, and you'd send them out a questionnaire each week, wouldn't he? And the first question he would ask is your consistency in satisfying your personal devotion. So in other words, your reading and your prayer.
It's those two questions that always challenge us. One is consistency, because one of us can get distracted incredibly easily and can find himself doing all sorts of other things, but also satisfying. There's no point in just polyparrot fashion doing something that brings no satisfaction. That's the thing. One of the things I love about God throughout the scriptures is God gives us new years, new beginnings, new opportunities, because he knows.
Yes.
He knows we have to keep resetting and restarting, because we're human and we fail in that side of things.
Can't you wait to get to heaven? Because in heaven, in heaven there will be no need
for a diet,
for a resolution at all. There'll be no need for change because we will be like him.
Yeah.
We will be ultimately perfect in him. So I can't wait for that day. But until that day,
we got to keep working at it.
We, as the Apostle Paul says, we press on. But I think a key for me is that word consistency. Yeah. And one of my son-in-laws, actually, who may well listen to this, I shared this with him. He's a Christian, etc., etc. I shared this with him, and every other day, if I say, "Oh, I've just had a mince pie," he sends me a text. Consistency, Rob.
See, that's the thing. Did you just say that your son-in-law may listen to this podcast?
Yeah,
I thought we made it a rule in our families that if nobody else in the country watches Two Pastors in a Pod, that they will.
I need to enforce this.
I think you need to enforce it. There's consistency watching.
It would double our viewing figures, wouldn't it?
So what we got then, we talked about consistency in personal life and church life. Podcast-wise, what are we hoping to do in this coming year podcast-wise?
Well, we got our heads together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And Nathan and his wife actually helped us with a
few
potential subjects. So we're going to be looking at addiction, aren't we? We're going to do a podcast on that. We're going to look at, we're coming up to Valentine's Day.
Finding love.
And Nathan reminded us early on that our first podcast
was on Valentine's.
Around about Valentine's Day.
So we're going to look at first love, aren't we?
We're going to go back. Unexpected love, was it?
Unexpected love, finding love, that sort of thing.
So finding love in older age, I think that is. We're
Our
gonna
guests won't thank us for that last bit. in older age.
parenting, fellowship, hospitality. We're going to look at generally relationships,
One of the ones we came up with,
possibly
today,
freedom of
freedom of speech,
Speech.
which is going to become a bigger and bigger issue with what's going on online, with changes in kind of different presidents and prime ministers and all sorts of stuff going on. So that's really important. It would be good if you're watching this, you might want to go back and watch our podcast on AI. Particularly as the UK government now has decided that we are going to become a AI superpower. Well, that'll be interesting. Go back and watch AI. Should we be concerned about that and worried about it?
Because we're not really here, you know.
Oh, here we go.
We are just AI generated.
Oh, we're not doing that again. Believe me, if you were AI generated, there'd be certain bits that would change. But what we want to do, we'd love you to get in more contact with us.
Yeah.
You can email us on the bottom of the screen. There's an email account that you can send questions to. You can send suggestions for subject matter.
Yeah.
You can debate with us maybe some of the other matters. And when we get those emails, we do read them and we will come back to you on following podcasts every now and again. So, New Year, we need to be consistent at resetting and maybe throwing our heart over the fence a bit more.
If people haven't reflected already, find some time to reflect. Find some time to understand the reset buttons that need to be pressed in your own life. Throw your heart over the fence, to quote your quote, and forget what lies behind and press on. And don't worry too much about the future. Trust, put your hope in the Lord.
So
His mercies
are new every morning.
Every single
So
morning.
we hope that you've enjoyed this short podcast together. We hope to see you on the next one on Two Pastors in a Pub. You can find us. Where can you find us?
On the internet.
On Spotify, on Apple Pay, on wherever you find your podcast. We'd love to see you. Come and join us.
I'll have to reset that for the new year.
I would.
I'll have to learn that for the new year. Anyway, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
May the Lord bless you and keep you this year.